Did you know that Gene Tierney had an affair with John F. Kennedy long before he became president? The two met on the set of Dragonwig when she was in the middle of a scene with co-star Walter Houston. And Joseph Mankiewicz, the director, asked her to look into the camera, and she turned her head and she found herself looking into what she has later described to be the most perfectly blue eyes she has ever seen on a man, and her heart skipped a beat. He was standing in his lieutenant uniform and had just returned from the South Pacific. And later that night, when they met together again at a party, Jack did everything he could to cut in on Jean and her date and get close to her. And they found themselves dancing together all night, and he even said that he could dance like this for the rest of his life. What a silly flirt. Oh, it's so cute. But sadly, it wasn't to be, because even though they were madly in love, he already at that time had plans of becoming president. And it's also important to mention that while Gene Tierney comes from a family of New England Republican Episcopalians, Jack's family is Irish Catholic Democrats, so that's a tough match. Gene's brother Butch certainly didn't approve of them getting serious, and Jack's family, again being Catholic and with dreams of him becoming president, obviously didn't approve of him getting married to a soon-to-be Republican divorcee either. So, one afternoon, they were meeting up in New York with friends for lunch, and she has described this in her autobiography in great detail. Before their friends arrived, Jack looked up at Jean, and out of the blue, he just said, "You know, Jean, I could never marry you." And Jean sat there for a long, silent time and didn't really say anything, and their friends started arriving and started chatting, and it wasn't until Jack got up to leave to catch a flight back to Washington that Jean, remaining in her seat, looked at him and said in a voice just above a whisper, "Bye-bye, Jack." And he looked at her and said, "Well, what do you mean? That sounds kind of final." Whereto she said, "It is." And they looked at each other for a long, silent moment, and he left. And that was the end of their affair.